Alright guys, welcome to another video, and in this tutorial I'm going to be teaching you guys how to create a very simple HUD or a heads up display. Now if you guys don't know what it is, it's basically the part of the game that is just for the player to look at to see, how much health they have left, how many coins they collected, how many lives they have left and stuff like that. So since we have a very simple game right here, what we can do is the only piece of information that I'm going to display in our HUD is the score, aka how many monsters did that player kill. And typically it would be a lot more complex, like, what's your health, how much energy do you have left, but for now, I'll just teach you guys the basics. Let me get adjusted here. It's going to be a doozy. Alright, so the first thing I want to do is I want to create a whole new layer for the heads up display because the background layer is just, the texture, obviously. The main one is for all of our sprites right now, the monsters that move around the player, the bullets, explosions. I definitely don't want to put it here because, I don't want the player to accidentally shoot the text on the screen that says the high score and it blows up or anything like that. So I'm going to be making a whole new layer, and we can just rename this to HUD, which means heads up display, and also make sure that you have it selected so it's your active layer. And once you do, before we actually start adding text, go over in the properties and set this parallax to 0, 0. Now the parallax, I won't get too much into detail because we have a bunch of stuff to do, but it's basically for heads up displays, and when you set it to 0, 0, which is the X and Y axis, it pretty much says stay in one place and don't like keep it as a heads up display. Don't scroll it when you scroll the camera or anything like that. So now that we have our main layer that we're going to be storing all our heads up display information on, we can go ahead and actually create an object. So again, make sure you have this selected and double click anywhere on the screen, it doesn't matter. And whenever you double click, it just brings up the insert new object panel, and we'll just insert a new text object because all it's going to do is pretty much display the score in text. So now it gives you crosshairs pretty much asking where do you want to put it. I'm just going to put mine in the top left corner. And now, as you can see, well, you probably can't even see, but it created an object, and the default text is kind of small and it's black, so it's incredibly hard to read. So let's go ahead and change the color of our text because right now this is what our score, it would be too hard to look at. So click this object, the text object, and the first thing I want to do is change the color. So if you click this, drop down to bring it like a really bright yellow, just basic yellow. And okay, click away, and we can still see that, it's still kind of small, to be honest. So let's click this again in order to change the size or the font family. Let's just go ahead and click this. And actually, if you make it bold, give it a real big size, like 36. Not that big. Let's go 36, right? We got any cool fonts? Nope, not really. And let's just go ahead and give it... This is like a tough decision. I'm just like, it doesn't really even matter. Oh, font not supported, eh? Alright, we'll just stick with basic Arial. And now, if you can scroll away, you can't see that text anymore, and that's because your bounding box, or the size of it, isn't big enough to encapsulate 36 pixel text or point text. So just make sure your box is big enough. And now, any text that you have is going to appear in here. But now if you play the game, it just says the word text, not our high score. Not the coolest thing. So how do we make this actually display the high score, or excuse me, the score of the user? Well, what we need to do is we need to go in our event sheet and basically keep this high score, I keep saying high score, I'm just going to freaking call it high score, who cares? Keep the score updated. So how often do we want to update it? Well, we don't want to update it. We actually can update it every time you shoot a monster or kill one, but what I want to do is just store this in every tick. So pretty much constantly keep this updated, and what action do we want to perform? Well, the action that we want to perform is just change this text. so it displays the score. So add action, and it is, what's my object name? Hold on a second. So this is actually text2, it's called. So add action for text2, which is that little box, and we want to where are you at? Well, there's actually a couple ways that we can do this now that I think about it, but the easiest way would probably be set text right here. And you guys probably aren't going to like this if you're not really programmers, but what we can do is in between double quotes, I'll type it all out, in between double quotes just put current score, and outside of double quotes put an ampersand, which is the symbol above the 7 on your keyboard, and then just put score and hit enter. And I'll tell you guys what this means. What this means is no matter what, whatever is in between your double quotation marks, it always displays. So it's always going to say current score with a space after it. Now what this ampersand does is it says, okay, now after this, combine this piece of text with a variable. Now this score right here, if you remember, it's not the word score, it's actually a variable that keeps track of the score. So right now it's going to say current score 0 to start the game, and then when you shoot 1, it's going to say current score 1. Whenever you kill 2 monsters, it's going to say current score 2. So this is the part that's going to change. Hit done, and now everything should be everything should be good to go as long as I didn't mess anything up. So again, current score 0 to start, and then what's going to happen is every monster you kill, it increases the global variable of score by 1, and of course that global variable is displayed right here, and then you can just like keep track of your friends who got the highest score. Again, pretty boring heads up display right now, but it gets the job done. So that's your very basics of creating a heads up display, and of course you eventually want to add some more things to here, like your player's health, maybe how much energy he has, you know, how much food he has left, or how many bullets would be a good one. So in the next video, we're probably going to be finishing things up for this very simple game. But again, if you have any questions, just ask me on my forum. Be glad to answer them for you. So until next video, I'll see you.